Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Hiveswap Friendsim. We are on volume 15, which is crazy to think about. I mean, this has been a good year of as much as I would like Act 2 to come around sometime soon. This has been a very good year of Hiveswap content with this nice trickle of Hiveswap stuff. I'm starting to get a little bit sick. It's like I have a feeling that if that given another day or two, I might have gotten sick enough to where I would have had to cancel tonight's stream. But since it's just coming on, I took some Dayquil and we're going to power through it. So if I'm a little loopy tonight, that's why. I'm blaming the Dayquil. Also, as a side effect, I had to replace the usual Theseus water mug with some grapefruit juice because my throat's starting to go. Which means that if Connell, by some chance, happens to show up in tonight's volume, I will not be doing the Jasper voice, because that Jasper voice is murder on the throat. And that is not something... and that is not something I am willing or able to put up with tonight. Anyhow, let's get right into it, shall we? It is time for Volume 15 of Creatives, conventional or otherwise. It looks like we have ourselves an olive blood and teal blood, or teal or jade. Not quite sure. Can't quite tell. You walk with a purpose. You don't really have a purpose, aside from friendship, of course. But you know these streets pretty well by now, by this point, so you can at least strut like you've got one. That's interesting. Now that we... I'm confused because I'm confused by Wanshi. I did, but right off the bat, I'm a little confused by Wanshi because her symbol looks like an olive blood symbol because like those tend to be all swirly and such. But she's got the mismatched horns, which is kind of a jade blood archetype. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I suppose we'll find out when we get to her. But we are going to start, as always, on the left with Charun. They look nice. Okay, Charun Krojib. Let's get into it. Actually, you know what? You think you've had it up to here with friendship? Oh, oh my. You're sure you'll be back on your regular friend-making bullshit later, but today is just one of those days. A curl up under the blankets with your favorite show sort of day. Leave your phone on silent and say nothing to no one sort of day. And honestly, you've watched a friend almost die of poisoning and gazed upon the juggalo afterlife. You think you've more than earned a day, or night, rather, of respite like this? Okay, so you are openly acknowledging the time that you died, which I wonder if that's occurred to MSPA reader, that he is like, look at that, like, we gazed upon the juggalo afterlife because we died that one time, and yet the story is continuing, and I don't know if MSPA reader has realized the incongruity of that. Anyway, so just for today, you turn your back on this new swath of Eternian city you were considering walking through and head back to Ye Olde Hideout. No explorations now, only bed. You drag yourself up the scaffolding to your hidey hole. More than anything, more than binging on media or relaxing amidst the peace and quiet, you want to take a nice long nap. So you spill yourself onto the little pile of bedding, pillows, and various pieces of clothing you've managed to throw together and settle in. As soon as your body touches it, you're out like a light. But it isn't very long until you're awake again, and not because your body is rousing itself after sufficient slumber, but because of a persistent scrabbling sound that is followed by a loud thunk. Typically, that wouldn't be enough to get you up. You're a pretty heavy sleeper. But the noise is accompanied by the nagging sensation that whatever is making the noise is in the room with you, and that has you bolting upright. You must have woken up in the middle of your REM cycle because you feel like a mummy rising out of the crypt. Is this real life? Or is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Tempted to go on, but I'm not going to. As we've already established, tonight is probably not the best night for me to start singing. Okay, nope. We're not going to sing Queen tonight. No more. Stop. Actively having to stop myself from continuing on with Bohemian Rhapsody. Anyway, your brain struggles to make sense of your surroundings through the fog of residual sleepiness that's still settled over you as you stumble to your feet. Eventually, you're able to discern that the noise is coming from behind and above you, around where the ceiling is. It's in my head now. Thanks, Minda. You're welcome. Hey, don't blame me. Blame the Friendsim. What the hell? Is there a raccoon crawling in the vents? Does Alternia even have raccoons? If it does, you're pretty sure you wouldn't want to meet one, but you can't exactly leave it in your living space either. You get up to investigate. The noise isn't coming from the ceiling like you thought, but from a platform that's been shoved unceremoniously to the very back of the watchtower. There's a large object in front of it that wasn't there before. A giant curved lens that could only have come from the hole that is now in the side of the platform structure. Maybe this was the old telescope or camera that the Continents once used for surveillance. The scrabbling continues. It's coming from within the structure. You're not eager for whatever it is in there to come jumping out at you as soon as you stick your head inside, but you steel your nerves and hoist yourself up. You find yourself face to face, not with some weird animal or bug, but a troll. Hey. Hello. This is a bona fide friend opportunity. It's practically fallen in your lap, but you find yourself unexpectedly ornery about it. Does Alternia have troll rabies? That is a terrifying thought. You would think that you could expect some privacy in your own home, or, well, the place you've adopted as your home on Alternia anyway, but apparently not. Let's put this music. Gotta turn it up a bit. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. Anyway. Even when you've decided that you aren't in the friending mood, there the universe goes, yeeting new friends into your path anyways. Can't you go a day on this planet without dancing the whole friendship jig? It quickly becomes obvious that this mysterious stranger isn't going to offer you anything more than enigmatic gazing into the middle distance. What exactly are they doing in your hideout, you ask? If they were thinking about moving in, they could have at least asked you first. You're the current occupant, after all. Yeet! This bitch empty! Yeet! I don't have anything empty to throw right now. I don't want to move in. I already have a hive. I came up here for that. They point past you. You can only assume they're referring to the giant lens you've seen on the floor. Well, if they've gotten what they've come for, why are they still hanging out on the platform's innards like this? I'm stuck. Aw. Yes, you are stuck in our home. What a dilemma. And they didn't try calling for help? Yeah, and chat's immediately on the stuck in a home theme as well. They didn't try calling for help? I didn't notice you. Wherever you came from. I don't think anyone else was here. I didn't think anyone else was here. Would they perhaps like some help? It's like you can't really tell because you can't see my mouse, or you may be able to hear me clicking, but every time they it's like all of these ellipses are actually several text boxes in a row, so you gotta click through them one after another to get through them. Maybe. Aw. Poor person. It's like, okay, maybe I do need help. As you hop down from the platform, you find your ire draining from you, much like flesh juice from a pimple. It's difficult to stay angry upon witnessing what's possibly the most pathetic burglary attempt ever. And that's counting your own fiasco with your ship. Oh yeah, we did establish that we stole the ship to get to Alternia. After walking around to the other side of the platform, you can see the troll's booted legs sticking up out of a gap in the structure. It looks much too narrow for anyone to crawl through, and yet that's exactly what they must have done in order to push the lens out from behind. You yell that you're going to try and pull them out. You hear a faint muttered, "Okay," and reach up to grab them around the waist, pulling hard. It takes a couple of tries, but with one last particularly hard tug, you're finally able to pull them free. They tumble down on top of you. Thanks for getting me unstuck. For this person's voice, I'm just imagining Maud, Pinkie Pie's sister from MLP. And breaking my fall. You didn't really do that part on purpose, but you're glad they appreciated it? You guess. They seem pretty content to continue laying on top of you, actually, but they're heavy, so you wriggle out from underneath them like an earwig from under a rock and clamber onto your feet. You nod at the lens. That's what they want, huh? The troll sits up, crossing their legs. You can see them more clearly now that they aren't sequestered inside the platform, although their face is obscured a little by their shaggy hair and floppy wide-brimmed hat. They look about as sleepy as you felt earlier. As sleepy as you're in danger of feeling again, in fact. Their voice is slow and regular, like a metronome dunked in molasses, and it's almost threatening to send you right back to bed. Yeah. How are they just like this? I'm guessing they're just like this. This does not seem like a drug-induced haze. This seems like, okay, this is life now. I'm tired. I need some sleep now. Nap time. Which I'm starting to feel now that Dayquil is kicking in. So. Point. Ellipses. Ellipses. Can I have it? You swear you can feel your friend-making juices start circling through your body again with a vengeance after their little sabbatical. You're not really... Oh. Careful, kitty. You're not really sure what came over you before. Turned down the chance to make a new friend? You? Haha! Wow, who kidnapped you and replaced you with a total stranger for a few hours there? You tell the troll, of course you can have the lens. It's not like you're doing anything with it. Or like it's even yours to begin with. It was just abandoned here along with the rest of this broken down tech. Curiously, you ask the... Hi, cat. Stop playing with that. Cat, get out. Here. Curiously, you ask them what they want it for. Are they building something? Perhaps they're an engineer of some sort. Cat. Wait it. Cat's playing with junk on my desk behind the monitor. No. Climbing all the way up here just for some building material would be pretty dumb. Keeps buffering. Try just reloading the page. That helps sometimes. I want to use it for... Ellipses. Ellipses. Cat! No. Ah. Ellipses. Ellipses. Art. Huh. You look at the lens again skeptically. It's a cool lens, you suppose, but it mostly looks like exactly what it is. A hunk of junk. They want to make art out of this? Their work must be pretty, Alright. Let's see, Let's go with weird, first of all. Haha. Yeah. The two of you alternate between looking at the lens and each other for a while. Usually over the course of making a new friend, they usually would have asked you to do something by now, or presented you with some sort of choice between two potential courses of action. Is there anything they like to do now that they've retrieved their art materials? Ellipses. I don't think this choice matters, but just in case. Four ellipses, 6 ellipses. Guess that's all on you then. They probably want to take the lens back to their hive, right? I would, but I'm tired. Oh. This is a mood. This is a mood and a half. And hungry. Foraging for garbage takes a lot of energy. And I used the last of it climbing up here. I don't think I'll be able to carry it by myself. They really didn't think this whole junk heist thing through very well, did they? But would you look at that? This is an excellent time to make a suggestion. Why not look for more easily portable trash? You can, or you can carry it. 4 arms are better than 2. Okay, so there's an interesting observation that I haven't really caught on, nor like verified on my own, but somebody suggested that the trolls with more. Somebody have suggested that the trolls with more options like this are all of the mind aspect. I don't know if that's really a pattern or not, and like they're either of the mind aspect or they're teal bloods, which is associated with Terzi, which is also associated with mind. Kind of a stretch. I don't know if that's like really a pattern that they're going for intentionally, but if so, like if our friend here is a mind player that does support that assertion, I suppose. Why not look for more portable trash? I can carry it. 4 arms are better than 2. Sounds like the correct choice, so let's just do that and see what happens. You do that? Make sure you're careful with it. Of course! You'll treat it with all the delicacy of an egg in an egg and spoon race. Yeah, I'll find out there. I always look up the aspects at the end of the route, so we'll find out then. I don't know what that is. Carrying it to the watchtower's entrance is easy enough. Maneuvering down the cliff face is more complicated. You manage by holding it between you as you navigate from foothold to foothold. When you reach the bottom, the troll looks like it... Hang on. That is the wrong number of windows on that building right there. It's supposed to be a pattern of 16... Or it's supposed to be 12. It's only 8. Boo. Boo, background artist for this Friendsim. You failed. You failed in your... You failed in keeping up with numerology trends. When you reach the bottom, the troll looks like they're ready to sit down again right there in the brush, but you urge them on. Resting in their hive will probably be much more comfortable. That's the wrong way. Sheepishly, you whirl back around from the random direction you were about to stride towards and follow them instead. With them leading the way and you bringing up the rear, the two of you shamble along the path with all the easy grace of 2 people in a horse costume. But you make it to your new companion's hive much quicker than you would have expected. They come to a stop in front of the entrance to a cave in another cliffside. If this is their place, it isn't very far from you at all. You're surprised that you haven't run into them until now. They're practically a neighbor. I've seen you around before. You're pretty hard to miss. Really? They should have said hi and introduced themselves. The 2 of you could have been hanging out all this time. Ellipses. Didn't feel like it. Besides, I was busy. With more of this scavenging and art business, you guess. Oh well, you're getting to know each other now, which is what's important. Speaking of, you've been talking and walking along, and you haven't even exchanged names yet. How remiss of you. Usually you would have gotten introductions out of the way from the moment they broke into your hideout, but it's been an odd sort of night. That's okay. I'm Charun. Now come on, let's go inside. They pull you and the lens forward. They didn't ask your name in return, but you managed to bumblingly introduce yourself as you lurch along into their hive. Oh yeah, we never have gotten Protag's name yet, have we? I mean, that's kind of standard for these kinds of games, but it is an odd little omission now that you mention it. This is a cool background here. Let's take all this in. Got a stroller, or whatever the troll equivalent of that is. Some interesting art. I like the big troll, like scarecrow-looking thing. Okay, like I don't know what it is, but the face that the ship mast is that Vriska? Kind of actually. Cow, little cow, where? Oh shit, that is a little cow. Fuck! Oh god. What? And he's hiding behind the text box, too. If you don't press H, you never would have seen him. Okay, we'll get back to Little Cal, but, like, the expression of the, ship head is kind of cracking me up, because, like, you see the ship is just like... Yeah, it looks like there's an actual troll, like, hiding back in there in the, rubble. Like, just above and to the right of Little Cal, there is, like... It looks like an actual troll, not a piece of art. Some millipedes, some bugs. Let's see, what else? What else is there to comment? The scarecrow people are mentioned kind of looks like Vriska in a way. It's like they've got, like, the lopsided horns and eyes. So, like, maybe they're a cerulean blood? Could be. Could be. Toilet. And yeah, Little Cal there. Hiding under a green sheet, too, so... What's up with that? That's weird. Jesus. Lots of toilets. Or whatever the troll word for toilets is. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. The hands are sticking out over the edge. For that one troll painting. So yeah, that looks like a real troll hiding in the background, so... Huh. Dragon skull, that's another interesting detail. Bunch of harpoons and shovels and junk. Huh. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. At Holben Earth, you had a thing about garages. You thought it was interesting to scope the sort of stuff people ended up accumulating. You've seen some real gems in your day. A collection of singing and dancing novelty plant figurines, a small army of Furbies without any fur, the beat-up remains of some kind of cat mascot costume. The inside of Charun's hive is as if every single weird garage you've ever seen, converged to exist simultaneously in the same cave. The platonic ideal of garages. Yeah, the centipede. It's hard to believe that someone lives here. If you look closely, though, you begin to notice homely comforts tucked among the metal junkyard scraps and broken furniture piled over the floors and all the way up along the craggy cliff walls, craggy cave walls. A Recupercoon sits on the ledge on one wall, and you think there's a kitchen cabinet wedged into another. So what do you think? It's pretty cozy, you say, giving him a double thumbs up. The stalactites are a nice touch. Ellipses. I meant about my art. Oh, the art, of course. You cast around desperately. Charun's hive is such a jumble of miscellany that it's impossible for you to figure out which of it is art materials, which are finished artworks, and which are Charun's actual belongings. It's a pretty gnarly skull over there with leaves in the sockets. The angle at which the umbrella sticks out of the lawn chair is really compelling. You settle on a purple object in one corner that looks like a traditional sculpture. That looks more like a traditional sculpture than a bunch of household items stuck together. Those curves, that amaranthian hue, truly an inspiring piece. What's he looking at? Not actually sure what he's looking at, to be honest. Charun looks at you strangely. That's just the load gapper. You don't know much about art, do you? Busted. No, you really don't. Remember had taught you the importance of giving the people what they want. And Amnesia had taught you the importance of putting a tarp down before lopping off a head so blood or paint doesn't get all over the floor. Very important art lessons right there. But you hadn't learned very much about actually creating art from them. As you gaze around the cave again, you find that you really want to understand. Clearly, this is something that's important to Charun. Otherwise, why would they spend the majority of their time on it? You, too, wish to experience the marvels of the creative process, if only there were a way for you to learn. If you want to that badly, you could make something. MSPA reader, try to understand. Out of what I collected. Really? But they must have worked so hard to find all this. Is it really fine for you to just dick around with it? You're surprised to see that Charun looks pleased at what you're saying. It's maybe the most expressive you've seen them since you met. Oh yeah, look at them. Look how happy they are. Hang on. Cat, what are you doing? Okay, he's fine. He's just laying on top of the router, so if the stream suddenly cuts out, it's probably because my cat, like, accidentally pushed a wire or something. All art is dicking around. Looks like you've already started to get it. You smile proudly. All art is dicking around. If that's not the philosophy of Homestuck, I don't know what is. Ugh. And anyway, if you make something sucky, they shrug their shoulders. You can just take it apart again and reuse its separate components to make something else. Your smile flags a little. Where do you want to start? You rub your chin thoughtfully, wandering over to the lawn chair with the umbrella in it. A pile of fabric is stacked on top. You rifle through it until you find some colors you like. Then you walk around to the other side of Charun's hive, searching for other items you might be able to use. Charun doesn't offer much in terms of guidance, aside from cautioning you away from a couple of objects that are actually finished artworks. Whoops. You end up with an armful of knickknacks that you put down in front of what is now a lamppost, but you will soon be your canvas of choice. Then you get to work. The fabric. You troll it all around the post. You tie these smaller objects, a snow globe, an old boot, a fancy Santa. Oh my god. Fucking fancy Santas. Fancy Santa. Into it with a string. On top, you perch a rubber Walmart goose that makes a majestically horrible noise when pressed. As your art piece comes together under your hands, you take a few steps back every now and then to appraise it from further away, making adjustments whenever you find something you're not happy with. Finally, it's complete. You turn to ask Charun's opinion, newly flushed with pride and adrenaline from having successfully made a thing. They don't look very impressed. Your face falls. What's wrong? Did you use too much orange? Were the scattered Lucius teeth a little too out there? Troll Walmart or human Walmart? Good question. Either is equally plausible, in my opinion. Listen, you're overthinking this. Just do what feels right. You frown. Don't think at all, then? Let your instincts drive you? This reminds me of that one scene in Detroit Become Human. Thinking a little is probably good, too. Okay, don't overthink it, but don't abandon rational thought altogether. Let your feelings guide you, but not completely. Pretty vague, but sure. You'll give it another shot. You strip the lamppost back down. This time you don't spend too much. This time you don't spend too long regarding it at all. In all its. Let's try this again. This time you don't spend too long regarding it in all its nude metal glory. You begin working immediately, whipping around Charun's hive in a flurry of cave dust and a determination, grabbing things as soon as you lay eyes on them. Look at how happy they are. Charun looks more and more fascinated the longer you're at it. It's not long until their eyes are positively gleaming. Soon they're taking step after tentative step towards you, as if drawn to you by the sheer force of your artistic energies. They look like they might want to join in, actually. Is that okay? I see what you're going for, I think. Your vibe has got me all inspired. Of course! The more the merrier. You'd love to see what the two of you could create together. With a barely there smile, Charun plants a traffic cone at the base of the lamppost with great aplomb, and you're off! It's all a blur after that. The two of you move in unison, like you're co-piloting the Jaeger, except instead of a giant robot, you're steering a feverish, creatively propelled fugue state. Wow, I think we're almost done. You stand back from your newly forged pile of bric-a-brac, mopping the sweat from your brow. They're right. You're almost finished. Almost. You just need to add the finishing touch, a piece de resistance, and you know just the thing. With great conviction, you pick up a box from the floor, tearing it open so that its contents fall all over the structure, all over the sculpture. Oh no. My polysassafras slates. Dominoes? I assume that's what those are, dominoes. You freeze. Were those cooking ingredients? You seem to have gotten carried away. You start apologizing, but Charun is already waving your words away. It's fine. It looks better like this. It's too good to waste as food. Anyway, I can find other things to eat. You both regard your creation, heaving for breath. You're done! Having many sugars. Yeah, let's polysaccharinaceous slates. Sugar cubes? Is that what they are? Oh, anyway. You both regard your creation, heaving for breath. You're done! As exhausted as you are, a wonderful calm settles over you as you admire the result of your hard work. It's beautiful. It really, really is. You don't know how, because you don't think you've actually done anything different compared to your first try. Maybe you just got lucky. Yes, fondly regard the art. But regardless of exactly how it came about, this is one of the most bizarrely sublime things you think you've ever laid eyes on in your life. And the longer you stare at it, the more layers and depth reveal themselves to you, like the petals of a newly blooming flower opening to the sunlight of spring. Abruptly, irresistibly, you feel yourself gripped in the throes of profound new knowledge. Charun's artworks are pointless and weird, but perhaps that's what gives them their charm. In such an uncertain and violent world, where trolls call trolls, and where you might be trapped in an endless Sisyphean journey across the planet in search of new friends, for a brief moment, you can have this. You can stand there, awash in appreciative what the fuck at this masterpiece you've crafted out of a bunch of other people's trash, marveling at how you've birthed something greater than yourself. Sometimes, trash can be beautiful. You think you understand now. This is what Charun must have been endeavoring to teach you. You beam at them, glowing with the joy of your discovery. Yeah, sure. If you say so. Joyride! Okay. This doesn't have anything to do with what we were just talking about. Are we sure? I haven't played through any of the other routes yet. Are we sure this is the right end card? Unless we really did just create, like, a car. I don't know. Anyway. That's a weird end card. I mean, I guess it is kind of a joyride, sort of, but I don't know. Anyway, let's back up and do some other things. Alright, back it up. Back it up, back it up. Oh, no, that's wrong. Where were we? So yeah, we're just gonna... let's go... Okay, but the first time we said her art was weird, so this time we're going to see her art is interesting. Suspicious look. They squint at you like they've taken some sort of issue with your comment. Have you managed to offend them? You thought you were being polite enough, given the circumstances. Interesting is usually what people say when they have nothing better to say. This is not inaccurate. Do you have a problem with making art out of trash? You shake your head rapidly, but the troll is already crossing their arms and shooting you a disapproving look. I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. Oh no! Does this mean they're going to leave? And after you've up and decided to try and add them to your ever-growing friend harem too? No. I'm tired. Oh! Okay then, they're just gonna kind of glower at you from the floor for a while until they get their strength back enough to leave, you assume. This definitely isn't awkward at all. That's hilarious. I love just the awkwardness of this is hilarious. Is great. Okay, so that's failure number 1. Failure number 2. Let's see. We picked the 4 ellipses before, so let's do the 2 ellipses, which probably won't make a difference. Guess it's only, yeah, no, didn't think that would make a difference. Okay, so last time we offered to help. This time we are going to suggest they look for more portable trash, which will probably just send them on their way. Sure, this giant lens is pretty neat, but there's probably plenty of other cool stuff they could use that wouldn't be such a pain to move. Your new friend considers this, scratching their cheek. There is one place. Oh, we're going to go on a heist, and it's going to end in disaster. I bet. That I go to a lot for material. You nod. Maybe the two of you could go there, then. You could help. You'll even graciously hold on to the lens for them so they can come get it some other time. Okay. I would have come back for it. Even if you hadn't said anything, though. They take you to a garbage dump. This is going to be another interesting thing to explore, I'll bet. Let's see, a bunch of cool red crystals. Looks like there are some briefs hanging from that one tree. A bunch of gnarled bric-a-brac. Ooh, a scalemate. Black scalemate right below the creepy tree. A bone wagon. Oh god, it is a bone wagon. Now people are making Undertale jokes. It's like we're going to run into Undyne and Alpheus going on a date here, which I would be totally okay with. Anyhow, they take you to a garbage dump. Or a river, to be completely accurate, which has plenty of garbage washed up on its shore. Something about the strength and direction of the river's currents here seem to pull in the waste that's been dumped into it, concentrating the debris in this muddy patch of land. You're not sure what you expected, really. You had fleeting thoughts of a gleaming art supply store. But they did intimate that they work primarily with garbage. Here we are. You better not tell anyone about this place. It's a real treasure trove. They nail you with another intense stare. No, you say, of course not. Their trash haven is safe with you. The cycle of endless, useless garbage. It fills you with determination. Very good. Excellent. Spot-on reference there. Satisfied, they pull up the bandana sitting around their neck to cover their nose and mouth. Looks like they're ready to get to work. You're not sure what you should be looking for, though. More discarded computer equipment? Or are they more of a toilet paper roll and yogurt cup kind of mood? Whatever catches your eye. If you see anything, just shout. Now that they mention it, you never got their name. I'm Charun. If you have chitter, you could follow me. And off they go. They hold out their hand for your palm husk. You hand it to them, and they fiddle with it for a second before returning it to you and traipsing off. A little clicking around reveals that they're now on your Chitter following list, but also that they've taken the liberty of downloading a new app, an app with a purple-pink camera icon. And okay, you recognize this one as well, except on Eternia, it's apparently called Pincer Spam. I know so little about social media. I don't even know what. I honestly don't know what the human equivalent of that is. But okay, sure. Is it Snapchat? Is that what it is? I guess it sounds like Snapchat. Instagram? Okay, sure. If you say so. Well, it rhymes with Instagram, so maybe it's that. But if you say so. I mean, I use Tumblr and Facebook, and that's about it. Sorry. Sorry, you youngins. I don't know what you people use to communicate anymore. Anyway. Searching their Chitter handle leads you to their account on here, too. At least you think it's their account. It's hard to tell from the profile picture, which is a blurry shot of one of their horns and the brim of their hat. Most of what you can see is sky. Maybe skimming their account will give you a better idea of their aesthetic. You scroll through photographs that are similarly enigmatic, an intense close-up of a sewer drain lid, the curve of a piece of ceramic, a purr beast sniffing the camera. They've got quite the number of followers, despite the fact that nobody seems to know who they are and that they never reply to comments. You've got a friend in common, too. User Sarava Streams for Sweeps has liked a few of their most recent posts. None of this is really helpful. You also realize that they're standing here stalking your new friend on... You also realize that you're standing here stalking your new friend on your phone like a creep when you could just, go talk to them some more. So you hurry off after them. By the time you catch up, they're squinting at something. What's that over there? You follow their gaze. It's a hideout of some kind. A small cave tucked into the rock. This could get interesting. The two of you approach it curiously. Charun stoops to peer at something on the ground near its entrance, but you decide to venture further in. Oh dear. You think you might hear voices, and their sources become apparent once you've taken a few steps inside. Uh-oh. Who goes there? Hey! Ajdaja. Reveal yourself. Oh, god damn it. When I said I was worried about Connell showing up again, I didn't actually think it would happen. What are the odds? I told you. I can't do it. I can't do the voice today. Oh, of all the trolls to show up here. Fucking... I hate being a seer of light sometimes, Jesus Christ. Oh, oh, good Lord. See, the best part is, you all were here for this. I do this shit all the time on my live vlog where I make one-off jokes and then it turns out to be real. And I bet you that it happens so often that I bet a lot of you people think I'm faking it. I don't. You got to see it live on camera how this shit went down. Jesus Christ. Freaking A. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh, it's just you. Back for round two? The likelihood of this battle's outcome being anything other than me kicking your ass is exactly 0. Typically, this would be a massive waste of my time, but luckily for you, I have nothing better to do. Azdazar surges forward, presumably to attack you, but any air of intimidation his little speech might have had is quickly diffused by Connell grabbing him firmly by the back of his coat and yanking him back. But now I feel like I have to do it. Oh, God. Dazar, don't be rude. Fuck it, we're going all in. Dazar, don't be rude. As Dazar shrugs Connell's hand away, the quiet sizzle of his psionics is like the hiss of a pissed-off cat. But it's her voice, I have to do it. It'll be fine. It's like regret is... This is tomorrow Minda's problem at this point. This, my dear Connell, is merely smack talk. As a prince among my caste, rudeness is simply not a part of my repertoire. Connell just snorts. Well, then stop being a strife-hungry dick. My friend is delicate, okay? You protest that you aren't at all as delicate as the last time you've run into each other. You've seen some shit. Azdazar's sparkly side nonsense doesn't scare you now. The two of them are too focused on each other to pay attention to you. You telling me not to fight for once is pretty rich. Don't you think I feel the same as you? It's been too long since I've had someone to punch. Whose bright idea was it in the first place? To hole up here in a trash dump for days? I've told you over and over again that we are here because our quarry is somewhere close. Our quarry? We just have to figure out exactly where. It's a perfectly rational plan. You would see that if you just think for a second. Yikes. You thought that maybe you could have had a nice three-way friend reunion, but they're too busy squabbling. Meanwhile, where had Charun gotten off to? You slink away from the escalating sniping, looking around for them. You're not entirely surprised when you find them hunched over some object in the ground, poking at it. You know these two, you say in a stage whisper, pointing at Connell and Azdazar's direction. You could introduce them once they're not quite so busy yelling. Once there's not quite so much yelling going on. Charun pulls down their bandanas to answer. No thanks. I found something more interesting over here. They gesture at the object. This is a great find. I've never seen anything like it. I can make something amazing out of this. You take a proper look at the object. It appears to be a miniature satellite dish with a few pipe cleaners sticking out of it. Unlike all this other stuff over here, though, this object is moving. The dish is rotating while a few lights glimmer softly at its base. You're pretty sure this isn't trash. And weren't Connell and Azdazar just discussing tracking someone? Whatever this is probably belongs to them. Interesting. Yeah. That's why you've got to distract them? Oh my. Oh my. So I can nab it. Oh. Heist! 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 Okay. Okay, this is no longer scavenging. This is straight up thievery. You glance at Connell and Azdazar again. They're so preoccupied with arguing with each other that they haven't even looked your way. But once they realize the tracker is missing, they'll probably decide to go after Charun to get it back. If that happens, stall them, so I can get away in time. This doesn't sit right with you. You don't want to screw your two other friends over, and the energy between them is so weird right now. The verbal sparring looks like a hair's breadth away from turning into physical sparring, but they also kind of look like they want to make out. Oh, we got some black rom here. Let's see, what? Well, let's see, so I suppose, you know, I mean, if this is the heart, I suppose, like, this is, like, a good enough spade sign. This will kind of look like they want to make out. whatever's going on, you don't want to be caught in the middle of it. Actually, since it's ventilating, it's vacillating. It's more like. Let's see how fast can I do this. Starting to feel like a little Naruto thing. Anyway. I'll make it up to you. Someday. Before you can make a decision, Charun tucks the piece of tech under their arm. They take a running leap towards a fence that sections off this gross trash shore from the woods, vaulting over it in an impressive display of athletic prowess. Well, hey. Olive blood. You cringe. Charun is really leaving you in the lurch here. This is so not the kind of thing a good friend would do. But then maybe you were never really friends in the first place? Yeah, and according to Azusa, they vacillate pale too, so like, my hands are, so I suppose that'd be like more like that. Aspergis Protec. Okay, so that was a fun one, and I think that's all of the failure routes now? Yeah, that's all of them, because the ellipses didn't actually matter. So I love Connell and Azja's face. So now they vacillate in all of the quadrants. Yes, exactly. So could somebody go to the extended zodiac and bring up Charun's sign for me, because I want to see what that is before we move on to the next route. Sign time, yes indeed. There it is. They are Les Born. God, I was laughing so much when you said the thing about Connell shows up. I know! How? Of all the trolls to show up, had to be the one troll I said, I really hope Connell doesn't show up tonight because I'm not sure I'm up for it, but anyway. So, Leoborn, sign of the paradox. They are associated with Durst and Rage. I like how... And the Mind Heal thing is debunked, which is nice, because I didn't think that was all that relevant anyway. So, yay. I kind of like that the little irony of that is, like, it's called the Sign of the Paradox, and here we have a Rage player who is remarkably chill. Like, startlingly chill is their kind of their whole thing. A paradox indeed. Well, that was fun. Like, even the failure routes were a lot of fun that time. And we got to see Connell and Astaja again. Oh, whoops, I clicked away from it. Invoked Rage in They invoked Rage in Adaja and Connell. Now, speaking of, like, there is, like... It is an interesting mystery now. I wonder who or what Azdaja and Connell are hunting down. It's like, who could they be searching for? Could it be someone who we meet in a future Friendsim? Most likely. So I imagine we'll come back to that plot point another day or another week. So we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. Excuse me. Otherwise, that was all great fun. One thing is that, like, yeah, that ending excuse me. That end card on the successful route was very strange. Like, it didn't seem to have anything to do with what it was leading up to. So, anyway. So that was... Yeah, it was already two separate patterns pretending to be one, debunking it was a formality. Yes, exactly. They get it. Anyway, so that was a fun route. I'm going to take a quick break, refill my grapefruit juice, and then we will move on to the other Friendsim. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.